Hi everyone, Monique here, Intuitive Soul Savant. We're going to move along today with our Pluto challenging aspects to the natal sun. If you have a look in the description box, you'll see the exact dates of Pluto's movement. In March, Pluto will ingress into Aquarius just for a couple of months, and then it'll be back into Capricorn. So let's get started. If my video freezes, I'm going to keep going because I really want to get this video out this week. And today's topic is self-compassion. And you will need self-compassion with a challenging Pluto aspect. Now, what is self-compassion? Well, basically, it's turning compassion inward onto ourselves. What does that look like? Well, in my experience with the Pluto transit, in the first part, when a lot of the grief and anger and pain was being processed through my body, it was very, very hard to have self-compassion for myself. And the reason for that is my mind was still working through, my higher self was in observation of the thoughts that were going through my mind unconsciously, well, consciously, because Pluto brings up from the unconscious and helps us to be made aware of what our brains actually blah, 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 all day long. Now, we have heard that there's thousands of thoughts per second and what have you, but these thoughts that I'm talking about, these are pattern thoughts, programmed thoughts from childhood. Now, many of you know who have watched my videos that I had militant parenting. So the way I spoke to myself through my mind was through shaming, guiltifying, and a lack of self-love for self, hating the self. I actually hated myself. I'm not pointing the finger at where those messages came from, but they were there and they were in my mind and they were not helping me at all. I might as well have had a bunch of people in my home yelling at me and abusing me, because that's what I was doing to myself with my self-talk. So through the Pluto transit, especially when you've had Mercury, when you've had Pluto conjunct Mercury, which is what I had before it actually got to the sun. So the mind is getting transformed through Mercury conjunction from Pluto. And then the sun is the ego. And that is all of our survival traits. The ego holds all of our survival traits, things that we've taken on board, behaviors, beliefs to survive on this planet with the best that we possibly can. So Pluto makes us aware of the self-talk, because this is very important. And to try to cut in to that thinking, that negative, abusive thinking. Sorry, my screen's frozen. I'm going to keep going. Yeah, for Pluto to cut through, we need to become aware of those thoughts that we're thinking that are negative and do not serve us. So this is where self-compassion comes into play. But before self-compassion came into play, I had to practice self-love. Yes, I did what Louise Hay suggests, to go to the mirror every day and to tell myself I love myself. Now, if you want to go and try that, you'll know where you fit and where you sit with telling yourself that you love yourself. If it's not the truth, you'll feel like a fake. You'll know. You'll feel like a fake. So self-love and self-compassion go hand in hand. What do self-compassionate thoughts look like or sound like? Or as an example, what did I do? Well, when you look around the world and, you know, what we've been through in the last couple of years with lockdowns and what have you, it's not easy being a human. We are going through huge evolutionary change. Everything feels like it's on quicksand. So there's one point to have self-compassion. I'm doing the best that I possibly can. It's not easy. If you look, especially those born in the 60s, the changes that have happened from the 50s, 60s, even 70s to now are just, whoo, they're huge. For a little human being to go through that much changes and to process it. Basically, I've lived from the olden days, before television I was born, until now. And look at the internet and what have you, what it's brought. It's not easy being a human. So the self-compassion, we can tell ourselves that. It's not easy having a challenging Pluto transit. We can comfort ourselves and soothe ourselves with our self-talk. But firstly, Pluto wants to expose the negative self-talk that you have been practicing. And everybody will be different depending on who their early caregivers were and the family lineage patterning of what each family believes. We've got to sort that out for ourselves. But self-compassion will be a tool that will help you as you're going through this Pluto transit to give yourself a break. We know that we're doing work with this Pluto transit. We know that we're what's the saying? It's just left me. A work in progress. That's it. We are a work in progress when Pluto is forming challenging aspects to our natal sun or our Mercury or Venus or Mars. We're on the road to becoming our potential. So we can't expect perfection. And I know from my experiences and my early caregivers, I was very, very hard on myself. You know, you might be wanting to overcome addictions and you keep relapsing, and then you're abusing yourself with your self-talk. This is where self-compassion comes in, and we have to learn it. Unless you have had early caregivers that taught you to go easy on yourself, to love yourself, and to have some compassion for yourself, then where do you learn these skills? Pluto will help, and Pluto will help to teach you these skills. So keep that in mind, self-compassion. And even if you're not going through any narky transits whatsoever, self-compassion is so important. How can we give others compassion if we can't give ourselves compassion? Now, we're coming to the end of the age of Pisces, and there's many beliefs about when the age of Aquarius starts and what have you. But the age of Pisces was about compassion, being able to understand what another person is going through just on the basis of you being a human being. Because if I hurt, well, then you must hurt. If I experience these feelings, then others out there must be experiencing these feelings. You don't have to lose a son or lose a company or what have you to experience compassion. You don't have to go through the same things as the other person to have compassion for another person. You just have to remember that we're all human here doing the best that we possibly can. And self-compassion is up there as one of the tools to soothe you. It's enough. It's enough. We've had enough. We need more love now, not more spanking. So thank you. Just a short video and a reminder to have self-compassion for yourself. And you may need to learn self-compassion. I had to learn self-compassion. So, and integrate self-compassion into my daily life so that that voice isn't bagging me out and belting me over the head every time I make a mistake. That's perfectionism. So through the Pluto transit, challenging aspects, you will get to see those thoughts and you'll be able to judge for yourself whether they're detrimental or not. But self-compassion will be the tool that will help you to rise up through this Pluto transit. So namaste, everybody. Thank you for watching. Please go to the description box. There's all of the list of the Pluto challenging videos, okay? Or you can go to playlists. They're all relative. Unpacking, challenging Pluto transits. Okay, that's what I'm here to help people with, because I've just had this challenging Pluto transit and it is ongoing. I have Venus and Mars yet for Pluto to meet. I've had Mercury, the moon, Neptune. Okay, so integrating Pluto with self-compassion. Thanks, everyone.